Okay, recording this video after close of trade Monday 15th of November 2010. Got a lot of charts to show you today, so I'll whip through them really quickly. First of all, let's just revisit the interest rates. I mean, if you're long bonds at the moment, you must be really hurting. So this is, as I've been talking about this over the last couple of months, this is interest rates. So starting off with the this is TN, so this is the 10-year interest rate, kind of popped up again today. TY is the 30-year interest rate, we're now at 4.373%. The FV, which is the 5-year interest rate, all kind of popping up here. Just unbelievable damage being done on the downside. Just to remind you, this is the daily chart of the bonds. 30-year bond contract here, the at US is the symbol in TradeStation. And this is the pattern kind of been pointing out over the last couple of months. So we finished off August, September with an end of trend warning signal. All of these blue professionals getting out at the top, exhaustion buying, followed by some bearish divergence. The market kind of sells off. A little bit of amateur activity here, kind of comes in for a second cyclical turn after an end of trend warning signal here. This time we get a flush signal, so flushing out the last of those buyers. Again, professionals up here, bearish divergence, and the market takes off the downside. So we've had our kind of a topping out pattern here in the 30-year bonds, and now we're really starting to move into a downtrend. However, just be aware we're coming up to, if I go up one time frame to the weekly time frame, this is the cyclical resistance level that's now kind of become support. We've got kind of exhaustion selling on the downside coming up in terms of the damage, the amount of selling that we've had kind of historically. This is pretty close to extremes. This will act as some kind of support level. So it's likely that we're going to see a bounce in bonds over the next day or two, but this was pretty extreme. And this is the activity kind of today, and you can start to see, talked about this a few days ago, how this was the FOMC meeting day. But then after that, it was pretty clear what the professionals were doing. The professionals, the blue bars, were selling on the highs. When you're seeing professional highs here, they're selling that move. Again, professionals on the highs here selling that move. This is falling through the ice here. They come in and pick up a little bit, exhaustion selling on the downside here. And then on this last move, they picked up a little bit. But look at this at the end of today. A lot of activity on this time frame. So professionals kind of coming back in, but we've still got, if I just go down one time frame on these tick bar charts on the 30-year, you can see all those professionals coming back in. We've got an end of trend warning signal to print here, so we've got professionals here, another cyclical turn kind of coming up. We've had our pullback and a downtrend and so on. So this damage that I was kind of pointing out in the bonds that was kind of lining up, a lot of the damage has been done now. I think we're going to see some kind of pause in the market and a little bit of rally in bonds over the next couple of days. And I'm seeing that turning point happening in terms of the euro as well. So let me just show you the euro and kind of related markets. Firstly, on the daily chart here, we've now had our exhaustion selling on the downside. We reached about $1.35 against the US here. Exhaustion selling. We're coming up to a cyclical turning point here on the euro. So I think tomorrow we might, or the next day, put in some kind of turning point. We're going to see the euro rally. We've had quite a strong rally in the US dollar. Have I got a weekly chart? No, I don't want to show you that. So this is the daily chart on the euros. If I drop down to the tick bar charts here, the highest time frame tick bar charts are 20,250 tick bar. You can see here that we've had kind of cyclical turning points, difficult to get through 35. But again, if you look at where the professionals are playing, this is FOMC, I think it was the release of this data here, and we had all of these professionals up at the high, flush signals, selling out here, come back, all of this up move here being led by the professionals, market tanks again. They come in at the lows a little bit here, but the last Friday's activity, again, they were kind of selling this up move, and we came back in. Professionals at the beginning of today, bullish divergence and so on, but I think we're going to see some kind of flush signal. So whether we're going to kind of rally a bit and then kind of charge back down to flush people out, or we're going to fall through 35 and have a flush signal that way and kind of bounce from that. Not sure which of those is going to play out, but I think that's kind of likely on the euro in the next couple of days, some kind of bottoming pattern there. And then just talking about the E-mini, be aware today was a professional day. A lot of activity during the day with very high average trade size, so the professionals were really active today. I know everybody's kind of talking about this kind of gap fill that we got around here that's kind of been done here. The damage on Friday was pretty extreme, and so today we had a little bit of a pause, and the the professionals kind of took the opportunity, I think, to buy, at the end of the day. Let me just show you. This is the highest time frame, 40,500 tip bar chart here, and I was talking about this on Thursday, I think, of last week, where wasn't sure which way this way was going to break. We had a little bit of a kind of a wedge pattern happening here, but on this particular time frame we'd seen no professional activity, and in particular we'd seen no professional blue bars down at the bottom. And I was pretty cagey on Thursday. I said it could kind of break either way, and when it dropped down to another time frame below this, you could see more kind of professional activity on the highs, but I wasn't convinced either way. Anyway, we did fall through big time on Friday. But what's happening at the moment? So at the end of Friday we had kind of professionals kind of coming in here, bullish divergence, professionals on the lows. The activity today, we kind of rallied a little bit. We ended up only up a point, but we rallied. The professionals kind of came in at this turning point here, pull back in a downtrend, and the market kind of sold off. But through this activity into these lows down at 1190, 1195, this was professional activity kind of picking up the market here. So we've also got a turning point happening on the 40,500 tip bar chart probably tomorrow. That'll be most likely an end of trend warning signal here. So I think this 1190 level is going to be kind of key going forward. So watch out for that, and a potential bounce off that. If I then drop it down to the 4,500 tip bar chart, so this is the tip bar chart I use for my trend determination on a day trading perspective. This is the open of the market here. You could see the professionals were kind of buying at 1198. Then we kind of came into this pattern here, selling out at 1206 up at the top here. We had a nice little kind of double top pattern here. The first time you can see exhaustion buying, professionals active, profit taking pattern, and so on. The next time we come back in to test those highs at 1204, 1205, 1206, you can see that's an amateur up bar right at those highs there, and it's a bearish divergence signal here. Very little buying going on at that point, and the market cranks down. But at the end of the day, we've kind of come into all of this kind of professional activity at the end of the day. Just want to show you this in terms of the lower time frame charts, and to show you, how that double top kind of pattern looks. Remember, this is exhaustion buying, professionals and then amateurs on the second rise, that second test, very weak buying, and then the market kind of goes the other way. So I'll drop down to the 1500 tip bar chart, and you can see here this is the beginning of the day, so this is all the day's activity. And if I just widen these bars out a little bit, so first time into 1205, 1206, first of all a Rambo pattern right at the top there, followed by professionals, exhaustion buying on the high there, and then the next time we come back in, it's really quite clear. You can see being led by the amateurs, amateur up bars here, amateurs kind of active at the highs there, bearish divergence signal, and the market kind of cracks the other way. And then just dropping down to the 500 tip bar chart, I've taken off the amateur and professional bars here, but just to show this was also an end of trend warning signal up at these highs. So when you have end of trend warning signals coinciding with cyclical turning points like this and like this on the 4,500 tip bar charts, that was all cyclical turning points, and it was actually an end of trend turning point on the 500 tip bar chart. Pay real attention to those, particularly once we've had kind of exhaustion buying on the upside, and we were starting to see these kind of divergence patterns set in as the market kind of started to show weakness here. And then the second double part of this double top here, we had very weak buying going on there with a bearish divergence signal right there. And then actually this low of the bar was actually an end of trend. You can hardly see it behind this green bar here. We had one little end of trend and then another little push down, end of trend warning signal there, and that was kind of nice for a little push to the upside. So anyway, hope your trading's going well, but just be aware. So on a couple of important markets, we've got the bond contracts kind of starting to see a bottom being put in those in the next couple of days, and that's starting to turn the other way. And similarly with the US dollar and the euro kind of contracts, so we're starting to see a bottom being put in the euro and people buying risk again. So we might be seeing some kind of bottoming process tomorrow in the E-mini. We're oversold on the Trin and so on, and so we might be seeing some kind of bottom being put in tomorrow and a little rally kind of from there. So that's what I'm expecting kind of for the rest of the week. So hope your trading's going well.